Introduction to Star Trek Renegades. We have a lot of the cast here. Mr. Tim Russ, who is directing. Manu Tanami. Miss Adrienne Wilkinson. J.G. Hertzler. And I don't know this guy.
I'm Ethan Kalk, co-producer, co-writer of Renegades.
Yay. So, I'm going to give you one of these down here. We've got 2 microphones to work with.
Yeah. Walter, sit down. Mr. Koenig, sit. Thank you.
There you go. And I'm going to turn this over to the director of this new feature, Mr. Tim Russ, and he's going to take it from here and have a good time.
Thank you very much.
Has anybody got a question for Walter? No?
Walter had a rough night.
All right, see you later. Sorry, Walt.
Walt is a busy man. Thank you all very much for coming to the panel today, and I know we have a fairly large block of time for this, and at the same time, we can't tell you the entire story of Renegades because then it's gonna, it'll be on the internet and the whole thing will be, over with. So I think we're just gonna be able to skirt around, the story elements itself. We may have some things we can show you in terms of our website right now. We have Star Trek Renegades website. We also have the Indiegogo campaign that's running. We're putting money together for post-production. Shooting a project is fairly straightforward and simple, in terms of the number of days and things like that. It's not very long at all. It's the post-production that takes a really long time to finish. So when you sell somebody where we're shooting in October, but we won't be able to see it probably till 2014 spring sometime, and that's because you have a mile and a half of editing to do. CGI effects have to be done. The models for the ships have to be finished and then put in. You've got the orchestration that's got to be composed, and then that's got to be laid in, as well as the Foley sound effects and things like that. So, and then you've got myself and the producers all have to look at different cuts and different versions and make additions and tweaks and whatever it may be. It's an endless process in post-production, and that's what we need a few extra dollars to do that, just so we have enough so we can make sure we finish it. The actual shoot is only about 14 days, so it doesn't take very long to put it in the can. It's the back end that just really makes all the difference. So we appreciate everybody's support, and hopefully, like I said, we'll have some images from the website. Indiegogo will have our images, our pictures, plus some of the work that's being done in all the areas of the film. We have props, we have the ship designs, we have costume pieces, we have all kinds of things we're sort of putting together. All of these are that you'll see are just in development. They're not the final version of what we see. They're sort of things that people in every area are working on, and we have a lot of experts working on different areas for this project. Really talented people, and some of them are dedicating their time for free to do some of the work on this project, and we're really grateful to have their expertise and their enthusiasm to do so. So yes, we'll open it up to questions as we go along. Yeah. Okay, no more questions. All right. I'm going to go to my signing table, and that's going to be good. Any questions about the project? Yeah.
When he says the experts lending their time for free, that does not include me. In either category.
Can you tell us anything about any of the characters?
Absolutely not. Those characters are actually, we've had a couple, we've been going back and forth with some of the characters. Manu was initially, we had him as a cast, and I think there was some difficulty with scheduling initially, so we did some story changes, and then he that schedule opened up and everything, and our shoot date changed, and everything kind of fell into place. So, Mono, you can tell them about your characters. You've got, again, there's some things that I don't want to reveal necessarily, but as far as a surprise, but Mono's going to be doing a couple of different things on the show.
Originally, Voyager, I mean, I was playing the character Icheb from Voyager. He's still going to be in the film, but it's a little different than that. There's been a few processes of scripts being changed and shuffled around for various scheduling reasons, as Tim said. But the original Icheb was this guy that he'd been to Section 31, and he had an arm that changed into all these different weapons, and he had this kind of Matrix-style look to him, and he was kind of sociopathic and bipolar because he had these nanoprobes running throughout his system, but he was trying to maintain focus on being a good guy, and so he was kind of a real dark, kick-ass assassin version of Icheb. And in this new version, we haven't quite decided what we're going to do with him yet. We know that he's going to be on one of the Federation ships, and he's got a certain position on that ship. But as far as the history of what happened to him, they're still tankering through the script to see the changes and what he's going to look like later. So I'm still pretty excited about me. I was talking with Ethan, the writer, yesterday, and I was pretty excited to see, what sort of things they're working on to bring him back to the script. They replaced a character that was on that ship with Icheb, and now they've got to decide, how to make those changes work and to beef that character up a little bit. So I'll be playing Icheb, and I'll be playing another role in the movie that I don't want to release yet, but I think some people have heard about it, but I'd love to keep it a secret for as long as I can. So only for good reasons. I think it's just going to be fun. Yeah, go ahead. For those of us coming in cold, what is the premise of Star Trek Renegades?
I'll let Ethan, the writer, Ethan Kalk is one of the writers on the project, give you sort of an outline or a parallel to what you might have, for the story to do.
This story takes place 10, 11 years after Voyager comes back from the Delta Quadrant, and the time in the Federation right now, there's some dark things going on, some things that we're not quite sure about, and this Renegades crew is kind of put together by Tuvok and by Chekhov to go out and do things that need to be done kind of without anybody knowing about it. And we've had a lot of, hey, that's not Star Trek, that's not Gene Roddenberry's vision, but Captain Kirk did the same thing all the time. Wait, I'm not going to follow those rules because this is what's right. So this crew is kind of doing things that really need to be done because it's the right thing to do, even though they might be using slightly different methods. So Tuvok and Chekhov put together this new crew to go out and take care of this huge threat to the Federation that might bring the whole Federation down. So that's kind of the premise and the setup of it.
I was going to share more, but I'm not going to share more than the writer shared.
And let me give this mic to Adrian. We are going to have another female captain on board, although she's not.
I'm sorry, hold on. Why was there no applause there?
Although she won't be like any female captain we've seen before. Here we go.
You know why there was no applause? Because people are used to it, and we're growing as a society.
At least half of us are. Some of us are.
Well, for future reference, that is
Clap
always
anyway.
welcome. I jump into this kind of cold. I am undoubtedly the least knowledgeable person in this room about all things Star Trek, but I am absolutely committed to making this project as incredible as it can be. And we've sort of found out little bits of information, all of us who are involved. We sort of get these little nuggets every once in a while of like, ooh, a little bit more information. We find out a little bit more about the history or the costumes, and every single time it just sort of fills me with excitement, because every time we get more information, it just sounds better and better to me. So I'm incredibly excited to be involved. I love this character. She's badass and interesting and stubborn and manipulative and strong and fierce, and she's just pretty fabulous, and I'm incredibly excited and grateful to be part of the team, so I can't wait.
She's got a pretty cool lineage we shouldn't share either. You were saying about we all get little nuggets of information. The whole project has kind of been run like the Manhattan Project. We're all kept on our own little job in the corners, and hopefully, if it's as cool as the Manhattan Project was in the end, we'll have quite a movie, huh? Because that was a big explosion.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy. Yeah. Yes. Can you say more about the threat? Well, let me give this to J.G. Hertzler, who is playing the lead bad guy. All right, here we go.
What were we going to cast him as, the lead good guy? Look at that guy over there.
I've never played a bad guy. I was glad to hear Adrienne say that she's growing, and the idea of captains are growing, getting larger. I like that, and I can't explain to you why. But I like the fact that there's more to them. It's tasty.
It's an inside joke, kind of.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it. However, is this an ongoing mission over 5 to 7 to 15 years? Because I've got to think of my future.
Hopefully. It's what we're doing is trying to make this pilot to present to CBS to be a potential online series. So yes, we're looking to be a series. We don't think CBS is ever going to put it on the air. Well, it'd be nice, but we kind of don't think so. We're shooting for online, on demand, Netflix, Hulu, things like that, because that's kind of where things are going anyway. So yes, we're looking to go online.
Well, you know, I went to college at Bucknell with Les Moonves. And does he have any clout at CBS?
I think so.
I know he is.
Just a tiny bit, yeah.
So maybe I can help there. But anyway, I really don't want to say anything more about Barada because I don't care to.
He's frickin' awesome.
Yes,
though.
let me tell you, he is.
Really,
Here's the thing. We worked together in Gods and Men. Ethan wrote it earlier on. We shot this years ago, and I got to tell you, what is unexpected, totally unexpected, is if I go onto the set, and I know it's going to happen again this time, the assemblance of these actors on this project, the caliber, it's such a delight. If you get the camera, my job is to get everything in the camera. One thing I'm not worried about is who's in front of the camera, because these guys are incredible. We have not rehearsed. We probably won't be rehearsing anything before we shoot. They're going to come to the set. They're going to walk on there in these amazing costumes. We're going to have the lighting is going to be really cool. We're going to have very cool sets. And these guys, I'm going to say, action and rehearsal, just see what everybody's bringing to the table, and I know it's going to be exciting. It's unexpected, and you've no idea what myself and Chekhov, we know what we're going to do. We have our characters. Everybody else is basically new to the program in terms of what they're bringing. And in fact, recognizable characters that you will see from Voyager are also going to be a little bit different. So even that's going to be exciting. JG's a monster. He came on as a Klingon in Gods and Men and scared the pants off of me. I didn't. I hadn't seen him in that makeup we were shooting with. I hadn't heard his voice. I hadn't heard anything like that. It was unbelievable. So I know that these guys are going to come to the set and they're going to, they're going to rock. That's the fun part. That's what I'm looking forward to. I got to tell you the most, just to see what the performances are going to be, because I know they're going to be. It's going to be unexpected. It's going to be a surprise. So it's very cool. Yes.
Mr. Bob Picardo, who's
Yes,
playing
Mr. Bob
Zimmerman,
Picardo, playing Zimmerman.
is also joining
Bob.
us.
I'm sorry I'm late. I was at church. I'm the designated prayer. I've been sent out to try to raise more money that way, and I apologize for being late. But I told them that that's where I was. But anyway, I'm here now, and thank you for your indulgence.
Did God say good things?
God wants to join at the $1,000 level so far.
All right, sweet. Sweet.
And I think we can give him a role as coming in there if we can find a part for him. Yes. Oh,
can we repeat the question? Because I'm sure a lot of people can't hear it. She was asking, I missed the first half, but the essential part of the question, right, was that is this the only Star Trek franchise that's going to be shown mostly on the ground and no interstellar travel? And
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me let Ethan take that.
This pilot centers on a planet, his planet, but in the end, no, it's going to be your usual Star Trek, going different places, doing different missions, things like that. So this pilot, yes, but the series, no.
well, so far there are a couple of ships, right? I mean, yeah, there's a couple of ships, and so yeah, we're all over the place. There's stuff going on all over the place.
Popping everywhere. Yes.
Can we get another microphone by any chance, so I don't have to just keep repeating? I'll even haul ass around and be the guinea boy, or the guinea boy. What the hell is a guinea boy? There you go. Bat boy. That's better analogy.
In years past, none of the series would accept any donations from the fans to keep things going because of copyright problems. Is that not? Can we no longer make donations since it's an online project at this point to keep it going, make sure it finishes?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes, completely and totally. It is an independent project, and the copyright only comes into play if you were going to try to commercially sell it yourself. You can shoot it anything you'd like, as long as you're not, you have to have a license in order to sell it. That's all. So we certainly would appreciate any and all donations to Indiegogo right now, which is where the project is based, for getting it off the ground. It's going to be under Star Trek Renegades on Indiegogo, not just Renegades. So
The post-production thing started today, didn't it?
It's right there. Actually, it was about 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
3 or 4 days ago. It's doing very well, so we'd like to continue that process. There was another question over here as well. This gentleman had a question, I think. Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's a mic coming around, so hold on one second.
I have a pretty good voice.
Yeah,
All right.
It's booming.
When did the mind spark? When did the mind spark or the beginning point for this begin? Or how did it begin?
Let me get that again to Ethan here.
You know where most stuff for writers starts, don't you? I don't know.
Actually, the idea for this started on the very last day of shooting for Of Gods and Men.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Well, go ahead. We, my fellow writer, Jack Trevino, and our producer, Sky Kahn, we were just kind of sitting around. We were on these sets of this derelict-looking ship, and we were just kind of looking at the sets and going, well, it'd be cool if we had this crew that just had to kind of find their own ship and go out and do these kind of missions like that. And hey, that'd be kind of a good idea. So we just started tossing it around a little bit, tossing it around. Couldn't figure out how to fund it, though. And so it kind of sat on the shelf. We kind of did a little bit of an outline. sat on the shelf for a while until things like Kickstarter and Indiegogo started becoming prominent, and we all of a sudden went, wait, that's the way to do it. So we started with Kickstarter back in September, 1st of October, whenever we started that, and raised a decent amount of money, not nearly enough to do any kind of pilot like this, but it gave us the good start, and now we're trying to get a little more to shoot a few more days and to enhance everything. But it all started on the last day of Gods and Men, just looking at these sets, saying, wow, what if we didn't have this fancy, shiny Starfleet vessel to run around in? What if we, just had to make do? And that's just kind of where it started from. That's where the idea started.
Do we still have Tobias Richter doing CGI for us?
Yes, we do.
The CGI is going to be so freaking amazing that man is like really, really good. Did anyone see the trailer for The Fifth Passenger at my panel the other day? You see the CGI on that? Were you impressed? I mean, that's going to be the levels of space CGI that we should have on this project. It's really, really exciting. Yeah, Chris Dawson as well.
Chris Dawson's done tons of things. He worked on Titanic even, so.
There's one back in the corner over here. Can you tell us a little bit about the casting process?
Well, I think it's been a lot of the same way that we worked on the previous project, Gods and Men. Everybody sort of pitched in names and actors to play different roles. A lot of it had to do with how the story comes together. We've altered the story several times. It's have several versions, several different types of characters that have been taken in and out based on, just putting the story together and seeing how it rolls and saying, well, maybe this character wouldn't work as well here, or maybe we can combine these two characters into one. There's a lot of that. When it comes to designing and putting together a cast for a series, it's almost like a form of alchemy. You're not absolutely certain how it's going to work out, but you're using different bits and pieces to come together, to bring this whole thing together, to coalesce as a unit. And the perfect dynamic of interaction between these characters, it's really crazy. There's no formula as to how you achieve that. It's almost like a random sort of process. But initially, I pitched a few people. Sky pitched several. Ethan pitched several. Even some of the actors themselves said, yeah, why don't we bring such and such in? And that would be cool for this character. And that's what we've kind of done as a process.
I remember I was asked, spoken to first by you, and then I talked to, did I talk to both you guys, or I talked to one of the writers on the phone? This is a long time ago. All right, so I talked to Ethan. Forgive me for not remembering who it was. I knew there was a writing team. And I said that I did not want to play the doctor character, mostly because it's the same issue with Data. We were not supposed to age, so it didn't make sense to me to, the gag of saying we altered his program so he looks older. Why? So why would we do that? But then I thought about it and said, I have an opportunity here that the Louis Zimmerman character, who designed the program and who the audience really knows very little about, that was a much more interesting challenge to take that character, who still obviously has my features, who would still be in the same timeline as we saw him on Voyager, which means he would have been growing to my age anyway. So that seemed, and also with the whole concept of what Renegades were, that these guys were not, that they had an edge to them that we hadn't seen maybe in our regular Star Treks that we'd seen before. That was the whole thing. This was going to be a grittier sort of a
Holograms don't have edges? Is that what you're trying to say?
Holograms, no, they don't have. Well, they have photonic edges, but you can't cut a finger on them. So I just thought that would be an interesting thing. So that was what I suggested to the writers. They liked that idea. And as I said, the audience doesn't know a lot about him or what he would be doing now. We know that we left him in bad health. He had that thing where he was dying, and then the doctor sort of saved him. So in any case, that was my suggestion. They liked that idea. They ran with it, and when they sent me script, I was pleased with how they had taken that idea and incorporated it into their story and given him some interesting things to do. So that's how I came to be part.
So this is nothing funny before we take another question, and then, I don't know, my mouth opens, and I guess I'm serious at this moment in time. Bob was talking about prayer earlier. So if there's anybody out there that believes in the middle, the source, the God, whatever God you do so pray to, there is a serious thing that did happen to one of the cast members on Renegades. If you guys know Corin Nemec, do you guys know Corin Nemec's work? If you don't know what happened to him, he was working on an independent film and got hurt really, really badly. And he's alive and he's going to be okay. But, you know, the prognosis was something about, at least from what I've heard, walk in a year, be normal in 3 years. So he got really, really hurt. And so if anyone's into putting out the prayers and putting out the positive energies for Corin Nemec so he can be of good health to shoot the incredible character that he gets to shoot when we make this film, that'd be great. So.
Please.
Best Trek always addressed current issues. Are there any issues that, I mean, I just want to say about the plot, are there any issues that are burning in your soul to be addressed in this series?
Again, that's an Ethan question. Here you go, Ethan. Oh, you got it? He got his own mic by now.
You guys came here to see them, and now I'm answering everything. I'm sorry. We always try to do what is known as the morality play, the issues. I think what we're looking at this time is what's a theme in Star Trek has been for a while is do the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? But we're not going to say it that way. It's more like, is it okay to do whatever it takes if the result is good, even if what it takes is bad? That's kind of what we're looking at in this. So do the ends justify the means?
Yeah, and/or, it's, and I would say when we talk about whether it's bad or not, it's just not by the book, not by the rules. Some people might be offended by, I'm saying in terms of the story, the characters in the story might be, offended or concerned about how the procedure is taking place. Well, is the procedure going to be something that holds us back from actually accomplishing something that's huge in scale? The characters that we've created, the bad guys, are pretty bad, and they have designs on Federation space that are, to say the least, cataclysmic if we don't stop them. And the way in which we have to stop them, might step on a few toes, in terms of how the Federation runs and what the rules are and things like that. That's essentially what we're talking about here. And it's almost, if you want to take it on an independent sort of basis, if you can imagine the 1600s, the Queen of England, makes a deal with a pirate. As long as you don't maraud our ships, we won't go after you, with criminal charges, as long as you maraud those guys' ships. And that's, if you want to use a parallel, it could be, you could use that sort of as a parallel in the story. Yes? Yeah, that's correct. There's going to be a couple.
Alien races, are we seeing new ones or are we seeing old ones is the question.
You wrote it.
Yeah, you wrote it. You get to answer all of these.
He's the new alien race, so I don't know if you want to...
And he's already surly.
Yes,
Yeah.
see?
Well, I will say that what Tim just said is not true. We're simply trying to help mankind from damaging themselves.
Well, the end result is certainly true, yes.
I can't say it.
We will see Romulans, we will see Andorians, we will see Vulcans, we will see Cardassians, Bajoran. Oh, Nausicaan, yep. See a Nausicaan? Yeah, so we have quite a few.
you can see though, this demonstration of passing the mic shows you why we need money to fulfill our production budget. If we won't be able to mic certain actors during the shooting. And so some of them, they'll just move their lips and you won't hear them. And you know, I'm suggesting Tuvok, for example. We kind of know what he's going to say anyway, right? You're going to want to hear me because Louis Zimmerman, he's going to say really cool things and kind of funny stuff, you know. And we can sort of post-dub your growling later. So if you just open your mouth and look mean, but we do need the microphones. We need, you know, we need the production budget. So this is a good demonstration of that.
Yes. Otherwise, we have to have subtitles and things for some of the actors.
Yeah, and maybe actually, truthfully, you know, if you do like Icheb, the more money that you put in, the more lines Icheb might get. Because they've been putting a helmet on Icheb this whole damn movie for the line. Then they replaced him with a breen, which, you know, talks in a babble, and then. But now, since we got more money, Icheb might, you know, every $100 he gets another line or something, maybe like that. And also, this other character of mine, they were putting me in a helmet. Maybe if you guys give a little more money, you can see my face, right, Tim? How about that?
Yeah, we can get him out of the helmet.
All right, fantastic.
One thing about fundraising. I did a convention in Blackpool, England, and I spoke to a Scotsman whom I didn't understand a word he said for the first half hour.
You just smile and nod.
He explained to me that he was from a small town in Scotland where they filmed Braveheart. And everybody in that small town, or just about everybody, put in 1,000, 5,000 pounds to film. Braveheart was funded by an Indiegogo without the name, by the people of that little town. So it's not, and it won an Oscar. I'm just saying.
That was a drunken story by some Scotsman. He didn't even know what he was talking. I put it in the tooth and I crop my guy and we put all this money in it's fucking Braveheart, man.
Thank you, Mano. That'll help immensely in fundraising.
Yes, right here.
Gods and Men, but yeah.
It will not be anything.
It'll be a lot like Gods and Monsters, though.
Yes.
Very, very.
The process, and I'm hoping the process isn't like Gods and Men either, because that was a rough ride the first 8 days of that shoot. So we're hoping it's going to be a heck of a lot smoother on the production end of this. No, it's nothing to do with Gods and Men. It's completely unrelated. Yes.
The suspense is killing me.
So in every other iteration of Star Trek, one of the, I guess, overarching themes of the captains is balancing the needs and mission of and well-being of their crew versus their own personal desires versus the overarching ethic, I suppose, of the regulations. And sometimes their personal ethic conflicts with the regulations or whatever. But this is the first time I've heard a captain describe herself as manipulative. And I'm wondering how your character is going to take that theme, if it's going to take that theme and change it and run with it. That's really interesting to me.
I'm excited to find out too. She simply is a new type of captain because I think she comes from circumstances that are different than any captain previously. So naturally, she shows up to work with a different set of, she has different motivations and just a different history that's sort of coursing through her. So she has goals that are personal, and she also has goals that are the mission, that involve everyone. And she certainly still feels responsibility for her crew and responsibility for fulfilling the mission. But I absolutely think that she has grayer areas than most captains previously. So I too am interested to see how it plays out. I think everyone in this room included, I think when you're put in the position of being a leader, it's really interesting because you can grow in a positive way, or you can, you can sort of take that power and have it go in a negative way. And I think what's at least interesting to me is that when the story first begins, you aren't quite sure which way she's going to go with it, and it sort of unfolds throughout the script, and I can't say more than that. But I am impressed with her journey, and I think it's something different that you haven't seen before, and I think the interplay between the crew is different than you've seen before, which makes it really interesting to me. There's just a lot happening with everyone. There's a lot of motivations and a lot of circumstances that make it grittier than you normally see.
And gritty is putting it mildly. This piece, the one thing that I talked about with Sky and Ethan at the very beginning, my main pitch for, as far as what I'd like to have seen with this series pilot, is that we are moving forward. It's 11 years beyond Voyager, and this is our version of the next incarnation of a Trek series arc. And I have to tell you, the one thing I wanted to say was that these guys at the very beginning said, Renegades, by definition of the word, I want everything in this project to be different than what we've seen before, okay? And it may come down to the technology here and there that you might see and some other things. I just wanted to emphasize that we're looking for different. We're looking for pushing the envelope. We're looking to go outside the bounds. We're looking to change things up. We've already seen 4 series that basically look the same. So we're going to be moving forward. This is new. It's the captain's character concerned about her crew. In one version, she threw somebody out on an airlock. Okay? I'm just giving you a piece.
A little bit of a temper.
A little bit of a temper. She has a little bit of a temper, backstory. The crew is somewhat surly. It's a surly crew. That's the whole point of this thing.
Is she going to kiss you or kill you? I don't know.
Yeah, she's got some things and issues, and we have other crew members who also have some pretty serious backstories. There's going to be edge in this piece. I'm telling you up front right now. It will not look like Next Generation. It's simply not going to be that. But there will be the principles. There will be good versus evil, and we're going to conquer them as any way we can in terms of the bad guys, and that's the whole idea of this thing. Look out for something very different. That's what it's all about, right? You don't want the same thing over and over, rehashed. You want something new and exciting. That's what we're looking for. There you go.
We want older, fatter, balder actors.
We're ready.
Yes.
Hoping for the best that it does become an online series. Will fans still get to be involved in the process of supporting it?
Well, the best would be if it became the new Star Trek show, but the second best would be the online.
Yeah, because I've already one of those people up there that's supported it, and I just want to continue the support once it becomes the online series.
Excellent.
I mean, is that going to be allowed? Once CBS takes over.
You have my permission. You can donate to my personal account.
There we go.
We'll exchange emails and shoot me the money. From now, even starting now, I'm cool with all of that, dude. Long after this thing is done.
I think there's a walk-on in store for you. It might be out of an airlock, but there's definitely a walk-on.
Is Imahara going to be doing double duty, acting and building robots?
No, he's just going to...
He's just going out the airlock.
Yeah. So far, we have not asked him to build anything for us. Just do the little part.
I have to tell you, though, my daughter, who's 14, could care less that I'm in the movie or that I've ever done anything. When she heard that Imahara was in the movie, that made... I'm there.
I don't know why we didn't, why didn't we get the redheaded girl from that show too? And then,
I'll ask Grant.
Yeah, from MythBusters.
Carrie.
Carrie. Yeah. Why isn't Carrie in the movie? What's with Grant? No Carrie.
I'll ask him. See if I can get her.
Thank you. And those guys would do some great prop building stuff. Why don't we just get the whole Mythbusters team over here? If this guy gives enough money, maybe we could get the Mythbusters team. Yeah. They blow stuff up all the time, and I like blowing stuff up too. So, not that I do it more than on the weekends.
They probably want to test the transporter thing and see if it works for sure or not. That's their thing. I met him. He's a very nice guy, too, right? He's really cool. Yes, right here.
You mentioned about, I guess, all of them were similar. I thought Voyager was definitely not in the same cast because they were out there by themselves. They did some things.
Yes, she's asking if she's saying that she thought that Voyager was somewhat different in terms of the other Star Trek series that had been on. To some degree, conceptually, they went back to the sort of the basics, the very beginning, in terms of being in uncharted space. And that was conceptually how it was a different show. But the ship still ran by, the same basic principles and Federation rules and procedures as much as they could, being by themselves. And the look of the show was also very different. And so ours will not look like that, and the crew is not going to be the same. Again, there are a lot of dynamics between all the crew members. This crew, the arc is going to include the crew coalescing and working together a certain way, whereas in the pilot that we're putting together, they're a band of, they're roguish in terms of how they get along with each other, and the captain could be seen, if you will, just as a comparison, the alpha of a wolf pack. Do you understand what we're saying here, right? You've seen how wolf packs work, man. One is always biting the other's butt, and the other one's always, fighting amongst each other, and someone's always challenging the alpha. That's what we're talking about here. That's the concept we're talking about for a crew.
I'm still picturing Adrian biting my butt.
All right, fantastic.
Well, this will be the test.
I'm not going to get that picture out of my head for a long time.
Is there going to be a love interest introduced in the pilot? Can anyone talk about that?
I don't think we have. Just a little tiny bit.
The beginnings, just the beginnings, yeah.
Star Trek Renegades and love.
One of my longest running complaints with the Star Trek series in general has always been their overwhelming use of the Chekhov's gun device. Not specifically Chekhov from the series, but the Anton Chekhov, where you show something in the beginning scene that turns out to be the solution to the problem at the end. And this happens on a regular basis, where it happens in an episode, they show this magical device that just happens to solve the exact problem that they have during that one episode. And then even if a similar problem crops up later, the solution is never applied. You never see that particular device. The whole thing is just forgotten about. It never happened. This is a case of writers not paying attention to what they've done in the past or not looking forward to what they're doing.
Writers?
Are you going?
Names. Come on.
Yeah, let's find them. Let's just get like six.
Blah, 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 blah.
Go to their house. I know
They
a
should
bunch
be
of mean
sought
dudes
out
in the
and
hood.
destroyed.
Yeah.
I
I was in a punk band in my young 20s, and I used to deal a little bit on the side when I was real young, and I know some bad dudes, so we could get together with those lead pipes and just writers, man, just thump, thump. Don't take that, man, for doing that stupid fucking device all the time, man.
This might
on your freaking head like that.
This might be why Icheb doesn't have more lines. But
it's quite possible.
But to get to the actual point of the question is, are you going to hide things in earlier parts of the episodes that you will call back to, so people will actually go, oh my God, I've got to go and watch that earlier episode.
I'm going to challenge your premise. Tell me an episode on Voyager where they showed the MacGuffin in the first scene and then we didn't notice it till the end, because the Doctor, I thought, was too smart for that. What? Give me an example where I ignored the solution in the beginning. Come on, I want to know.
Come on, Mr. Smarty Pants.
That's 7 seasons. Come on.
No.
Hey, no fair putting me on the spot.
Oh, come on, then. You said it happened over and over and over.
I want to know specifically
I'm wearing
when
a
I missed it.
steampunk outfit, not a Star Trek uniform.
We'll give you an hour.
But no, there were a few in Voyager, even with the Doctor.
But you can't give me a specific one?
Yeah, just come on. One of them.
Well, let's see.
We did 165 hours. You can't give me 1 hour?
Well, there were times when, well, I think the one, excuse me, I was yelling a lot yesterday. I think the one where they used the holographic device that allowed you to leave the ship was a good start, but there were times when it just seemed like, okay, well, wouldn't that problem solve a whole bunch of things? Suddenly the Doctor can go anywhere, be anywhere, do anything, and it was ignored in a lot of situations.
You mean the emergency command hologram? That guy? What is
well,
the holographic?
No,
the mobile emitter. I get it. The holographic device threw me there.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. You come over. I'm gonna come over to my autograph table later. You and I are gonna have a throwdown. All right. I don't want to waste everyone's time, but you and I are gonna go after it. All right. Okay.
The answer, though,
I'll
I
stay
think
out of
is no. We're not.
No,
I don't think we're doing that.
We don't have that in this pilot presentation. We do not have anything that's planted up front. No.
Good idea, though. We might do it.
Yes. Thanks for giving a suggestion. We may plug that back in. We might put a mobile emitter on the bad guy. Just kidding.
Is it true one of the characters is a descendant of Khan? Or is that a rumor?
Who knows?
I don't know about that.
No,
Not sure about
it's
that.
if you look at the cast list and the names of the characters, yeah, that one.
Okay. We gave it away.
Yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. Yeah. That explains a lot.
Did you see Cumberbatch do his con thing? What's that? Oh my God, was he good? Good luck. I mean, I'm sorry, but was he amazing? Oh my God.
Like I said, no pressure.
When Voyager was mentioned, it made me think of a certain character that the show could have done better without, in my opinion. Will there be like a Neelix equivalent character?
There was gonna be without the makeup.
Wow. I thought Ethan was fun. We won't have a character like Neelix on this particular show. We have a character who's called Fixer, who is our tech person on the show. But there won't be one that sort of parallels the Neelix type character on this episode. Now that's just this is a pilot. We're only beginning, and I'm sure that even between now and the time we shoot, there's going to be other changes made here and there, and eventually, if we go on to do other episodes, things will change. People will come and go, and this kind of thing, and it's we're not even sure how many people on this one are going to survive the pilot, quite honestly. So
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool about this movie too.
Are there a lot of airlocks on the ship?
what do you say? Lots of airlocks, yeah.
Yeah,
There's airlocks everywhere.
that first script I read reminded me of like True Blood or one of those shows that you just like you never know who's gonna.
You never know who's not going to be there next week.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's a tough crowd, man. Jeez, they're beating up on everybody. Yeah, I know. We need you guys on the crew. Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have this really gritty Star Trek show, and maybe some of the recurring characters might die, but you've got to keep some of the main cast. How are you going to deal with the red shirt effect? How are you going to deal with the red shirt problem?
Oh, I think we have at least one or two red shirts in there. I'm pretty sure we do. No, but every episode, we're just going to get through the pilot as it is. And there's at least one or two on this one.
Red shirts will be for sale for $10,000. Don't you think?
Yeah. Walk on red shirt, 10 grand above.
Hi, you said there was going to be something like a wolf pack mentality, you know, dominant and all that.
I gotta pee on something.
What I was going to ask is, should we expect something the equivalent of a barroom brawl or something like that in the pilot?
Well, you know, I can't say that there's a ballroom brawl necessarily. There is just sort of the way the interplay between the crew is, you know, they have to coalesce at some point in time, but that's going to be a process as the story goes along. As they are initially introduced, everybody, as Adrian mentioned before, has their own backstory and perhaps their own motives for being a part of this crew that are not all the same. You know, they, yes, will accomplish an objective, looking to accomplish an objective, but their own personal reasons might be different, and some of them are carrying a little baggage in. Some of them may not get along with each other, and this kind of thing. So that's what we're talking about initially. And I think at Voyager we did a little bit of that at the beginning of the series with the Maquis, because they were brought on board, and that was a problem for the Federation, and they had to, you know, come together. We had an entire episode where we tried to get them to become part of the ship and not be be seen as these sort of outliers. So this is we have a little bit of this coming into the show.
And you remember that Louis Zimmerman made the Doctor seem attitude-free. You know, he was kind of like, he was crankier than the Doctor by far. So I think I don't have to. I don't think he sees himself as lovable.
Yeah, exactly.
Can he sing? It's only if he wants to get thrown out an airlock. We haven't addressed that, but I suspect he will not be singing. On the other hand, for a $10,000 contribution, he will sing in the pilot.
You might see him singing, yes.
It'll open. The credits will open with him singing.
One problem I've always had with Star Trek is personal situations specific to one episode were immediately forgotten in the next episode. Like in Deep Space Nine, Chief O'Brien suffered a very harsh penalty in our justice system, when he spent 40 years in prison in his own mind. He was very traumatized. He could have been traumatized for life. Next episode, he's perfectly fine. Are you going to be doing the same thing, or are you going to have to watch the episode before to get the gist of the next episode?
But you know, it depends on whether what Ethan and these guys have put together as far as an arc for this show. And I don't know, Ethan, if we have a full Bible actually done for it. Not yet. I don't think we do yet. So that's an interesting question as to how the episodes and stuff will break down. I think presumably sometimes between episodes there are some time that's gone by between each story. So we never discuss how much time has gone by. So you know, it's hard to say how some of those things might happen. But we haven't put together a Bible in terms of a huge arc over, say, a couple, 3 years yet. Oh no, he was asking about whether or not this is the concept is a one-off, like a feature film, beginning, middle, and end. Although these days, that isn't the case either. How many sequels can you make of any particular story nowadays? No, it's actually this. I can't give away everything, but there is a sense by the end of the story that this crew will be together for a while, and there will be other missions. There will be other objectives. There will be other storylines for certain. It's just that we haven't, as of right now, put those together just yet. We have a lot of time to put the Bible together.
And Jack and Ethan are very, very fine writers. When you solve one problem, 2 or 3 or 4 more problems show up.
That's right.
And that's the way writing goes, especially in sci-fi.
That's the way marriage is too. I'm sorry.
And I hope I'm not saying too much by describing it this way, but at least for me, when I'm reading it, I sort of look at it as, you know, they're sort of like, I don't know, like in the mafia or something. It's like they're fixers. Like there's a problem, you got to go fix it, but there's always more problems. There's always more that has to be addressed, and it's a certain skill set that has been gathered that has the ability to deal with certain types of problems. So it's just darker, grittier missions.
You think Brando would do it?
Also, he's dead. He's gone.
He's still dead.
He's still dead. We have, in each one of the characters also has their own backstory. And again, their motives for being as part of this crew, there might be a duality there. So their backstories will be investigated, and that may also be intertwined with the missions and the objectives that we have for the crew and what they're going to be doing. It is pretty much wide open the way we have it set up right now. So there definitely is going to be room for a series in terms of episodes and things. Yes? There was one right behind yours. Yeah.
Oh, me. It's actually kind of a two-part question. It kind of sounds like Renegades is going to go more of the Deep Space Nine path, which was, you know, a little bit grittier than what everybody was used to with TNG, but at the same time, it kind of turned people off to Deep Space Nine. They kind of didn't like it. It was a little bit different flavor of Trek for them.
It was my favorite show.
It was my favorite as well. I loved it. And one of the great things about that show was that you start out with the main cast of characters, and by the end of the show, you have General Martok and Garrick and Aaron Eisenberg's character, Nog, and Rom, and you just have all the secondary characters actually making like stuff happen. You see all this stuff going along. Is there a possibility that we could see the same kind of thing in Renegades, where we have secondary recurring characters that actually end up becoming a pretty essential part of what goes on through certain story arcs?
Yeah, I would say yeah. The writer's nodding his head yes. And also I think we you know, the whole idea of this was to allow a show to bring back characters that the audience knows and loves. And it's opened up for so many guest spots, and in the time period, so many places for actors you've seen and characters you've seen from all the shows to possibly, you know, make an appearance. That's, I think, was the whole idea, was to...
I have, as your master of ceremonies this weekend, I have responsibilities you just wouldn't believe. So I have to excuse myself now, but I'll see you all very soon. Thank you for letting me take part and arrive late.
All right. Bob has to go pee on something now, too.
Bob Ricardo, ladies and gentlemen. There was somebody way in the back. Let me get them right quick. There's right, gentlemen. You can stand up there. There we go. Thank you, man.
You know, on the bus to NASA, Bob peed like 7 times during that whole trip. And I peed 6.
Wow.
And so I was like, I'm getting old, you know?
First thing I'd like to say is Neelix was the comic relief. So please have some comic relief in the show, okay?
Yeah, you know, this guy Fixer was so great, and you know, if the gods, this character Fixer, it was so funny and so good, and if the gods bless us with some, Ethan will be that.
Yeah.
But,
My main question is this show in any way going to be affected by the new alternate timeline which has been created by the new Star Trek shows? In other words, would it affect the characters in such a way that, you know, they would have a tinge of that alternate timeline, which is now rewriting the entire history of the Federation?
Ethan might want to answer that. I don't think there will be in that regard. And this,
Yeah, we're kind of going off the TV series rather than those movies.
Yeah.
So we're just following that history at the moment. Now, if we do get picked up and it does come some online series and the powers that be want it to reflect that, then of course we would do that. But right now we're just looking at the history of the 3 series.
Yeah, and also that, I mean, JJ's project is a prequel, so it's way, way, way before this timeline. So it's not, we're not even close to that. Yeah, right next to him, yeah.
Any future for the, for the pilot or any endeavors for the series, have y'all considered going to, or have y'all been contacted by Fathom Events to have it shown on the big screen at movie theaters?
Not yet. I don't believe the producer's not here, Sky Conway. I'm not sure exactly who he's been in contact with in terms of screening or premieres or things like that. We haven't really gotten to that point yet. We still have to get it in the can and get all the posts done on it. So we'd probably be looking at that sometime in 2014, late spring. Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right here. You're fine. Yep.
He was wondering if the premise is any way related to Section 31, and the answer was, yep.
Yep. It certainly is, yes, yes.
What's the expected runtime?
On this project right now, what's a page count on this, Ethan? Is it 95? All right, yeah, so we shoot 95. It's going to be cut probably to about 88, somewhere in there, 86, 87, 88, somewhere like that. Editing it all depends on how we cut it together and how tight. And typically, it's cut pretty tight, usually, yes. Well, it isn't so much that. It's just the nature of the personalities involved in the crew. I mean, it's the nature of the personalities of each individual and their own backstories and their own baggage coming together, their own motivations, if you will. Again, I can't use the pirate analogy enough. I mean, I think there's some similarities into how. For example, the truth about the pirate ships is that they were very democratic, actually, more so democratic than a lot of situations, circumstances, and countries we have right now. Very democratically run. Everybody voted for the captain. The captain did not assume power by others. They were voted in, and they could be voted out if the crew wasn't happy. Everything was shared on a pirate ship. Just so there's certain attributes about the pirates that, apart from the movies and stories we've heard, that were actually pretty tame in that regard. There will be, all of this kind of thing will be happening in terms of the Renegades crew. I think the idea is that there are going to be the friction between several characters, perhaps. There are going to be some who, again, end up in the airlock and some who don't. There are those who stick with us and those who don't make it. Those who, may come together a little bit later or come together a little sooner. And in terms of finding a purpose for them, that this ship is going to be something that serves a purpose in multiple ways for each one of these characters. That's the idea.
I like the pirate ship analogy. I'm just going to say that some more. That we cannot stress the pirate ship analogy enough. Can we? I'm a feng shui guy, and that it's just that center hole is just really bothering me. Can we just move down? I'm kind of ADD that way.
Absolutely not. You must be crazy.
They said 3 minutes.
3 minutes left. Move down. Okay.
Oh, 3 minutes. Oh, that's.
There we go. Shift down. Shift one. Shifting one. Because that's the airlock seat over there. Don't want anybody going out that seat. That is a very interesting question.
If CBS was wise enough to pick up the project, how much control would they end up with if they did so, was the question.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I don't know. You know, we have been in the business, and for years and years, all of us, and you know, we kind of know. I mean, I'm not sure I can speak for everybody, but we tend to look at those who make all the decisions upstairs with a cynical eye, as it were. If I'm not. You know,
no, man, you be honest about it. I'm with you. You know,
you know,
there's going to be some control that they're going to
be some, yeah.
That they're some, and hopefully, you know, a good amount would stay on this side of the table, and Ethan and those guys' side of the table. But that's one of those things that is, you know, cross your fingers and hope.
That's exactly it. Because if they're financing it, they're gonna want to have a say-so about it. So, any number of things could change if that was to happen. And you know what the heck? It's all part of the process, and it can be exciting at the same time. So.
Yeah.
I like that analogy, yeah.
First, what you said the first, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Starfleet is not going to be one of the bad guys that you're working
No.
If you saw our little trailer, Chekhov says we have to form this new crew quietly. So that's
quietly, yes. Yeah. That would be, as she mentioned, about an analogy of this crew being like a black ops. That's also very accurate.
I've actually looked at this whole thing, like when you were talking about tone, and you know, you wrote it, but from an artist perspective, actor's perspective, reading it, I see black ops, and I see government corruption, and I see all those sort of you know, things going on, I think, in this country right now, and I wonder if there's some kind of element in the script about that. That's the way I see it. I don't know if that was the way it was meant to be written, but.
And these guys do have each other's back, you know. For the most part, they, you know, they'll cover each other. It's not like they're going to leave, you know, the other one out to hang. So, it's not that kind of thing. You know, they have each other's back. Yeah. Yes. Last question. Yes.
Every character on the Renegade ship is just pretty damn hardcore. So that's what's fun about it. One more question.
Oh, quick question about rating. As far as the show, if it gets picked up by CBS, what type of rating will you be going for versus if it's strictly a web series, you can push it a little further as far?
Because the question was about rating, whether it stayed a web series and whether it got picked up by CBS, what would be the difference in rating?
What is it in general? I mean, the web series tend to be a more, I guess they do. They can be a lot
web
more
series
edgy,
can be
right?
a lot, yeah, they can do
right?
whatever they want, really.
Yeah,
so,
that's interesting.
We could have sex in space on every episode.
Yeah,
I
guess if it's CBS producing it, they're going to probably put some kind of rating limitation on it. That's my guess.
Sure, but look, if CBS likes this, right, and they decided to go that route and pick it up, it's not like they would change it radically because they like the idea. First of all, if they like the idea, they're not going to. If they're not going to change it too much. If they don't like the idea, they're not going to pick it up.
Yeah. And the fans' reaction, I would imagine, it will have a lot to do with that. So if the numbers of people who are, you know, watching or visiting the website or interested and excited about it, and they know what those are, then that's going to be a major factor in how they, I think, what they go along with at the end. So we can only hope for the best, guys. I know.
Just, you know, yeah, exactly like it's funded. You know, if you guys love it and we get a bunch of views, and if it goes that route, CBS is going to pay attention.
That's right.
If you don't, CBS won't, and we're doing our best to try to get it out there and try to get you to love it. So
that's right.
We're not trying to make something that's completely against Star Trek. You know?
One thing is for sure, it will be done.
Yeah.
We will be making it coming in October, so you look out for it. Thank you, guys.
And one final little plug that I was supposed to do from our producer is if you like what you see in here, check out our Indiegogo page right now, and just check out our Indiegogo page. And I also was asked to say that these guys would be a photo op where? The Grand Foyer at 12 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, and I think JJ, how much does JJ have? 80, 100 million to make his film?
A lot. We're cruising at about 200,000 right now.
All right, so we need, we're gonna, but we have badass CGI guys. We can make a beautiful project, but the more help, the better.
Definitely. It's going to look good when it's done.
All right. Thank you, guys. And 8.